Golf News RI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. I'm Joe Calabro, alongside live and in living color,
I'm here.
the prodigal son,
I'm here.
Rich Capali. Rich, how are you today, buddy boy?
Not bad.
You played good today here on the golf course until you crapped your pants?
Yeah,
but it was only a minor pants crapping, though.
No,
it wasn't
it
too
was,
bad.
It was
bad?
Yeah. I've 42 on the front and then a 48 on the back with a bunch of doubles.
Now, this was at North Kingstown?
It was at North Kingstown. Pristine.
Really? Nice.
Highly suggest it. What I pay? $56 with a cart. Fantastic. Boys down there treats the course right. I mean, every course should be emerald green right now with the amount of rain, and guess what? It's raining out again. So, give the boys a shout out down at North Kingstown. Get your plays in, and
Absolutely. So, congrats to you on your round. Sorry, computer issue. Anyways, so lots going on. Obviously, a big week. We have the RI Stroke Play this week. We have the Olympics going on as we speak. And we have the Senior Women's U.S. Open going on in Connecticut. Annika Sorenstam, my girl, leading the way. So lots to get to. And plus, if we have time, maybe we'll mix in a NBA draft thought and perhaps a Patriots thought with training camp starting yesterday, Wednesday.
MLB trade deadline too.
And the MLB trade deadline if we have
Extra.
if we have extra time for the 5 people that care about the NBA trade deadline. MLB trade deadline, excuse me. So that's very exciting stuff. But first, you may have seen the brand new commercial at the start of our show. So before we get to any of that stuff, we should tell you that the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Links Drinks. They're a Connecticut-based company. They distribute to 16 states around the country. And they are known for their transfusion cocktail in a can. It's made with vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice. So be sure to look for Links Drinks Transfusion Cocktail in stores and at country clubs across the state. And we'll be publishing more content with them. But a super exciting partnership for us. I had Fred Ivanko on a special Zoom earlier today. Super excited about the partnership. Obviously, they're excited for us to help them get into Rhode Island, more into Rhode Island. And I'm excited for them to help us through their social media reach get into, at least have a footprint of sorts in some other states across the region and the country, obviously, and our efforts to eventually expand. Not quite there yet, don't worry, but eventually that is the goal. So super excited to launch the partnership with them. It kicked off today. I've been working on this with these guys for about a week plus, and super excited that it happened today. Unfortunately, Fred couldn't be on the show tonight, but we'll play a clip in a second. But super excited for the partnership. I know you're a big transfusion fan, so I was excited for you.
Yeah.
For this
I'm
thing.
excited.
I feel like this is a partnership that you could actually get invested in.
I'm going to get behind. If you guys haven't had it before, fantastic hot weather summer golf course drink out on the patio, having a cigar, watching golf, baseball, whatever. It's good anywhere besides the golf course, but it's a good hot weather on the course drink.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I had Fred Ivanko, who's the co-founder of Links Drinks. Him and his wife actually founded the company 2 years ago. He said back in 2019. So I had him on a special Zoom interview earlier. Like I said, he couldn't make the show tonight. He was originally supposed to come on the show tonight, which would have been a lot of fun, but he couldn't make it. So had him on earlier, and let's just get to it right now, just to give these guys some love again. Links Drinks, they're primarily going to be featured on our podcast. They are going to have some space on the website as well, just because at this moment, the website is bigger than the podcast. No offense, it's just the facts. But they're primarily featured on the podcast, so super excited about that. And let's hear from Fred today. He's talking about how we decided to launch the company and what's coming up in the future for them.
I worked in the golf space for 20 years. I was the head of sales for the PGA shows, and then I'm actually going to pour one while we're talking. I think that's always good.
There you go. Absolutely.
It's always good. I worked in golf, and then I was the head of sales for the PGA shows, and then had a life-changing experience. So my wife and I, we lost our daughter to cancer, unfortunately, our daughter Grace, after a 2.5-year battle with cancer. And among other things, that experience gave me a lot of perspective, and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and ended up leaving uh, that position for the golf shows, and went to work for a small startup golf technology company in the tournament management space. And in that position, I was going to a lot of charity outings and corporate events and golf tournaments, and people were drinking this beautiful purple liquid gold, as I like to call it, this transfusion cocktail at these events, like it was going out of style. And it hit me to come up with the idea to put it in a can. Um, Ran it by a bunch of friends. I was originally calling it Can Fusion. Couldn't find anybody to talk me out of it. And I think you only have that light bulb moment once in a while that you think you could actually make something happen. And with this perspective that we had, we decided to give it a shot. And here we are. So far, so good. Yeah, we have the classic transfusion, vodka, ginger ale, grape juice. And we do have two other flavors that'll be coming out probably the end of this year, maybe the holidays, maybe next year. Not sure yet, but we're gonna have the what we call the front nine transfusion, which is vodka, ginger ale, orange juice for the morning drinkers, or the early start times or the early golf tournaments. And then we're gonna have the back nine transfusion, which is vodka, ginger ale, cranberry. I always say not every golf course has grape juice. And the cranberry is more of a staple type of a cocktail. Those are going to be our three. We may go right to a variety pack. We're not sure. There may be a fourth, maybe a transfusion light with lime, something low carb, low cal for guys like me, to fit into that seltzer craze. And maybe some others down the line. But at the end of the day, we're going to be the transfusion product. We're
All right, that was Fred Ivanko, the co-founder of Lynx Drinks, now the exclusive sponsor of the Golf Dudes podcast, and they're cranking out new products, as you just saw, so we're excited to work with them. They have some potential tastings coming up. I know he said in a few weeks they're doing a tasting at Wanham Autonomy, and others as well, so we'll keep you posted on some of those as best we can. So anyway, thanks to Lynx Drinks for coming aboard. We're super excited to work with those and to work with them and see how we can help them and how, obviously, they can help us through their social media reach. So anyway, that's enough of that. Thanks to them for coming on, and we'll hear more from them in the coming days and weeks as we help them with grow their brand, and they can help us. So anyway, super exciting stuff for the Golf Dudes podcast. Super exciting stuff for Golf News RI, and we're just gonna keep going one day at a time, as I always say, rise and grind. So that's where we are. So anyway, thanks to Lynx Drinks. Other local stuff, I know the Olympics are going on. Joe Tucker earlier this week won the RI Stroke Play at Alpine. I actually went there on Tuesday. And Alpine actually looked like it was in good shape, unlike when I went there last year.
Like I said, the amount of rain we're getting, if your
Every
course
course
isn't
is in
if
good
you're
shape.
not at least a 7 or an 8 out of 10, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, it looked great. I only walked a few holes. I was only there for an hour. Stroke Play is only so exciting. But he was running away with it. Unfortunately, Harry Dessel, the kid from Moses Brown, was in the lead, and he kind of fell backwards a little bit, but still a great season for him, as I said in the article. So super exciting time for him. But congrats to Joe Tucker. It's his first state win, and it also gets him into the Northeast Amateur. This was the tournament that Mike Hamilton won last year. They got him into the Northeast Amateur. So congrats to Joe Tucker on the victory. I think he was 7 under for the 2-day. It's a 2-day tournament, but they play 36 holes on the second day. So
7 under in stroke play. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So congrats to Joe Tucker. We have that article up on Golf News, right, obviously, as well. Other news and notes from around the state. Tough outing for Vinnie Papa down in Valhalla, or over in Valhalla, but she's only 12, and she made it there.
I'm sure she'll be back.
And you'll be hearing from her again, but unfortunately she had a rough go. She played better in the second round. She shot 3 strokes better in her second round. She climbed 13 spots up the leaderboard. But obviously she was so far back that it didn't really make much of a difference. The top 70 in ties made the cut, and she finished like 92nd or something like that. But only technically 4 shots or whatever it was, I think. Tough outing for her, but at least she made it to Valhalla. It was cool to covered her for a couple days, and thanks to her and her father for actually sending us pictures that we could use of the tournament and of the course or whatever. So that was super exciting for her. Other news and notes, kind of sticking with the amateur tour scene. Both Davis Chatfield and Patrick Welch missed the cut at the Western Amateur this week. Neither of them, to be honest, really came close to making the cut. It's too bad. I mean, Davis Chatfield's been the story of the summer locally, and he didn't play too well. He hadn't played since his U.S. Amateur qualifier, and that's going to be his next tournament in a couple of weeks. U.S. Amateur at Oakmont. Him and Brad Valoy, or two from Rhode Island, going to Oakmont for the U.S. Amateur. So Golf News Right will have tons of coverage of that.
What a test!
And so that's going to be a lot of fun. But that's going to be his next tournament. I think it's not next week, but it's the week after, I believe, over in Oakmont. So super exciting for them. Unfortunately, not a great showing at the Western Amateur. It's a tough tournament. It's a who's who of amateur golf. The Western Amateur and Michael Thorbjornsen, the kid from Massachusetts, he tied the course record yesterday. Yesterday's round, he shot 62 to tie the course record. He's 10 under par in 2 rounds.
Not bad.
To tie for first, or he wasn't a tie for first. I'm not sure if he still is going into.
And I get happy when I shoot an 86.
Yeah. So Michael Thorbjornsen goes to Stanford. We wrote about him a little bit. He won the Mass Amateur over Matt Parziale by he won 8 and 7 or something stupid.
Oh, jeez.
He killed him, and Parziale shot on the par. But Thorbjornsen just demolished him. Unbelievable performance. And the other one that we're watching is URI golf star Chris Francoeur is leading the Francis Ouimet Memorial Tournament in Massachusetts through 2 rounds. He actually fell backwards a little bit today, and then he got it back. So he shot 67 on the first day, 69 today, but he was back to 1 under, and then he got it right back. So he's leading the Francis Ouimet Tournament in Massachusetts. So pretty exciting stuff there. So we'll keep track of him tomorrow. Matt Parziale is in the field. It's a pretty good field. It's kind of their stroke. It's basically the Ouimet tournament is basically their stroke play. RI stroke play.
Parziale's from Brockton, right?
Right, he's the firefighter. He's not a firefighter anymore, but he was.
Yeah.
Cool. So pretty exciting stuff on the amateur circuit. Season certainly beginning to wind down for the amateurs, but before you know it, it'll be college golf season, and we'll be following that. So we'll keep track of Chris Francoeur for you, and as he looks to win the Ouimet Memorial tomorrow in Massachusetts. So good for him, and then he's obviously off to Louisville for his final season of college golf, and we'll cover him there too. The one thing you learn is where all these kids are going. So now on Twitter, we're following the Iona golf
Stuff
team.
stuff you would never ever follow.
There's a kid from Rhode Island playing on Iona. I'm following Louisville. Obviously, I'm following the locals. That's a given. But so now I'm following all these schools just in case somebody tweets about Addie Douglas, the girl that lost in the women's amateur last week. She goes to Fairfield. So now I'm following Fairfield golf. It's following all these random schools, but it's for a reason. You want to try to stay on top of this stuff the best that we can. And one of the exciting things about this time of year is it's club championship season. We already had one club championship finish last Saturday, I believe. Jay Amato won his 4th straight Triggs Club Championship.
I saw that. That's insane.
Unbelievable.
That's so crazy.
And Triggs, it's no joke either.
Dude.
And
That's
Triggs
one of
is a
my
tough course to
favorite
play.
courses to play. And it's definitely a test. And to win 1, let alone 4 in a row, I mean that's absolutely nuts. Especially with they got a lot of good players there too. So
absolutely, the Alpine Club Championship is going on.
I will have updates
some
from the
weeks.
King. I'm playing in the morning tomorrow, so I will have updates on each bracket, each division of our club championship. I'll have updates tomorrow.
Okay, I'll remind you because it's very important.
Yeah.
We covered it last summer. I'm pretty sure we covered every club championship in the state. So I'm trying to do that again this year. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I was talking to a friend of the show, Mr. Brad O'Clair, at the Kirkberry Bar. Shocking, I know. And
Never been there before.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this, and I don't mean to dump on any of the clubs. I don't know for sure, but I mean our Kirkberry Club Championship is starting this weekend with the medal play for seeding. My portion of the club championship starts next week with the net portion, but I'm talking about the real club championship. That starts this week with medal play, and I was thinking about the people in the field, and I mean our club championship tournament might be the best in the state as far as
Well,
quality golfers.
you got half
I mean,
the
it's like a
Rhode Island
mini
amateur there.
It's like a mini R amateur.
It's crazy.
basically.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking
It's
about
nuts.
that today. Brad kind of agreed. He said Metacom used to have something
Mm.
like that. Obviously, they don't anymore. And I was just thinking of the players in the field. You have Ty McCormick, you have Mike Hamilton, you have John O'Clair.
John O'Clair.
Who's won the thing 13 times.
Yeah.
You have Brad O'Clair. You have Pat Healy.
Voy.
You have Brad Voy if he plays.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not sure if he's going to play because he's got to go to
He's gotta
the
go
U.S.
to-
Amateur.
yeah.
But if he plays, you have him. You have other guys you have guys like Doug
Like
that are
Doug.
fringe
Yeah.
players. You have
Yep.
Larry LaFauci.
Yep.
I mean, it's just be an unbelievable tournament.
It'd be
Plus,
tough
it's always
to contend with that list, to be honest.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I just came to me for some reason. I was just thinking about club championships because I'm getting ready for the season, and I was just like, oh my god, we have this amazing field. I can't wait till they print the bracket. It's gonna be like, star player after star player, and there's not gonna be any easy match. So, I think the club championship is my favorite time of the year, especially at Kerper anyway. But just in general. So we're gonna try to keep going with that. We always have the Warwick Club Championship after that. Brad was telling me that he's got the Kerper Club Championship. Then he's going to defend his title of the Warwick Club Championship because, of course, he's a member at both places. And he's the defending Warwick Club champion. So we have that. We have the King's Crossing Club Championship. Alpine, like I said, is going on. Our friend Mike Mansour is still alive in the Alpine
He's a
Club
stick.
Championship.
He's good.
So we'll be following him and all kinds of stuff. So Club Championship season is pretty exciting. And I know the King, as we talked about last week, the King is a little bit different feel at King's Crossing, but the matches are still. I'm sure there's still some good matches.
Oh, we got some good players. I mean, the what's it called? I had one of my good buddies, Joe Marsacci, shot a 74 yesterday. Congrats to him. Fantastic. I still want to see the scorecard tomorrow, by the way.
Shout out to Joe.
74. Yeah. So
Was
we
that
got
74 net?
from what my dad was telling me, he was making bombs from downtown. Wedge game was mint. Driver was mint. So, yeah, we got some good players. We got net, gross, and senior and women. So we got 4 different divisions. So I will definitely I'll definitely pass along some updates tomorrow. I have a good idea about what the net is, but I'm not really sure about the championship division.
Is the net going to be your cousin?
No,
Oh, your
my
brother-in-law,
brother-in-law. No,
sorry,
he
brother-in-law.
actually, unfortunately, he got knocked out. He got
Really?
knocked out. I think 2-1. I think, or
Really?
on the last hole. I forget what it was.
Wow,
it was
that's
down. It was
surprising.
down to the last couple
So he
holes.
was
Yeah.
defending net
He was
champion, right?
defending net, but he played in the he played in the championship division this year.
Oh, that's
because I mean he's been shooting sub 75 every Sunday.
Jeez.
Yeah, 72, 73,
They were gonna go
74,
for that again.
You know, so I mean he figured he'd try his luck in the real division, and unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be this year. So I will have some updates tomorrow for you guys.
So yeah, we're super excited for a club championship season. Obviously, all the other amateur stuff going on across the country, literally across the country. The Western Amateur was in Illinois somewhere. Vinny Papa was playing in Valhalla, which is in Kentucky. So all kinds of stuff going on. We have a wide-ranging content on Golf News RI, and it's going to keep getting better and better. The other thing that's going on, obviously, this week is the Olympics, which everyone knows about. The U.S. Senior Women's Open is in Connecticut, actually. We probably could, if we had planned better, we probably could have looked into going.
I would have loved it.
But that's in Connecticut at Brooklawn Country Club, I believe the name is. And Annika Sorenstam is tied for the lead, amazingly enough. So go Annika. I met her at the CBS Charity Classic in, I forget what year it was. Some year that she played, obviously. And I got a picture with her and everything that I always post as Throwback Thursdays and Flashback Friday. So if I remember, I'll post it tomorrow. But anyway, so that's going on. So that's going to be exciting. And plus, obviously, as we all know, we have the Olympics. And last night was the first round of the golf tournament, of the Olympic golf tournament. And I know neither of us are huge Olympic people. We're both looking forward to the Ryder Cup. And it seems like, from what I was watching, it seems like the U.S. guys are looking ahead to the Ryder Cup too, because neither of them are. Nobody's really in the mix. So the course is playing so easy and so soft. They get more rain today. They're supposed to be on rain delay. They had like a 3-hour window to play. Then it could be rain delay. Apparently, it was rain delay last night.
I fell asleep about like 12:30.
Yeah.
I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore.
But real quick, we'll do this now and then obviously continue after the break. But any opening thoughts on the Olympic golf?
I mean, you pretty much said it. I mean, the course was insane. I mean, you had guys dropping like 12, 15, 20 footers, no problem. Like you said, the Olympic guys, the American guys. I mean, I'm looking right now. I think the closest guy is Captain America Patrick Reed tied for 13th at 3 under. But yeah, I mean, they should have done a lot more damage. Justin Thomas obviously had a clean card at par. He parred every single hole.
And he still played himself right out of the tournament.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. I mean, he's 8 shots back. So, yeah, I mean, it was super, super, super gettable. The course is...
It looks amazing.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
But due to the rain, which seems to be going on around the world this whole summer.
Apparently Japan gets the same weather as us. Who knows?
We're just getting absolutely screwed this July in the weather. So,
thankfully, July's almost over.
yeah, hopefully we'll have a better August. But anyways, yeah, super, super gettable. A lot of missed chances for the Americans. And, I mean, hopefully these guys can bounce back tonight and this morning.
So 2 things that were surprising. One, JT shooting even par and play himself right out of the tournament. I thought he was going to play better. And 2, Patrick Reed for literally showing up.
Stepping off the plane.
Literally, almost literally stepping off the plane and onto the first tee.
Yeah.
Actually played pretty well. Now, at some point, you got to think like exhaustion kicks in or like jet
Yeah.
lag kicks in. I
mean, hopefully-
I would hope not. But you would think like
Yeah.
it would for anybody else.
Hopefully he got his
But I
sleep
was,
overnight.
were you surprised that he played as well as he
Yeah,
did?
yeah, he made some putts. He struck the ball well. Like I said, I mean, 3 under is a great score. 5 shots back. I mean, for what he went through, I mean, he got the call because of Bryson. So, like you said, he quite literally stepped off the plane and onto the golf course. So, 3 under, I'm very happy with that. I actually haven't looked at anything else. Xander Schauffele's actually at 3 under too, tied for 13th with Patrick Reed, and Colin Morikawa's right behind them, tied for 22nd at 2 under, and I think he's through 1 right now. The other guys haven't teed off yet. So after the break, we'll go through a little bit more in detail because there's actually some. I mean, for as many people that canceled and pulled out, this is a really, really, really good field. So
Yeah, it seems like an okay field. I mean, obviously it's top heavy. Somebody tweeted today. I think Adam Schupak tweeted something about the strength of the field and how it's basically a glorified like World Golf Championship.
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
a
much.
low field
Yeah.
World Golf Championship.
Yeah.
2 things that were interesting that I want to get to after the break, or that I think are interesting, and I wrote about it in my Olympic preview that I put up on Wednesday afternoon, or whatever. I think the Sung J M Siwoo Kim story is probably the best story.
I'm rooting for Sun J M so hard
in the Olympics, so I want to get to them. And then some interesting things that I thought about the course. Bones Mackay was doing an interview on Golf Channel with our guy Todd Lewis, and he was saying how it's kind of like a Quail Hollow, Firestone type of thing. And he said that Japan actually closed the course to everybody for like 2 months prior to the Olympics coming there, and they said there's not a divot, there's not like a divot out of place, there's not anything wrong with it.
Absolutely mint.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting. But I want to get to the Sun J M stuff after the break, and then I want to get to also some of the other stuff going on in the world of golf,
And
including in the Olympics.
How about Tommy Fleetwood wearing a visor?
He's Tommy Fleetwood was wearing a visor. Some of the guys, Charlotte, what's the guy's name? He's wearing a screwy uniform. You sent me the meme. They're wearing the goofy outfits.
Leishman
Who's that
and
guy? Who's the other guy?
Leishman and
Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith.
Yeah,
His
they're wearing-
mullet is fantastic.
Wearing goofy outfits. So
Oh,
we'll get
man.
to all that right now. We want to hit the Golf Dudes promo, and we'll come back. We'll get to the Olympics, and if we have some time, we'll get into some other sports because we do realize there are other things going on in the world other than golf. So hit the promo, and we'll be right back. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan. Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
I mean, we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National. You could not see 50 yards.
And welcome back to the Golf Dudes podcast. Thanks everybody for checking us out tonight, tuning in on your Thursday night. Again, the Golf Dudes podcast is presented by Lynx Drinks, known for their transfusion cocktail in a can. It's made with vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice. If that doesn't sound delicious, I don't know what does. Or if that, did I mess that up?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. And so make sure you look for it in all stores and clubs across Rhode Island. And excited to work with Lynx Drinks for the foreseeable future. And so we are both super excited about that. Rich is a big transfusion drinker, so he's really excited about that. And I'm a big content person, so I'm excited about that. So it works. Anyways, we were talking about the Olympics before I went to break. Did you want to go through some of the leaders? I know it's in, in progress, so it's a little tricky.
There's only 60 players, so I can actually go through them all.
Well, you don't have to do 60, but
yeah. So let's talk about Sepp Straka last night.
Sepp Straka, no one's ever heard of him.
Well, I mean, he's got. I think he's got like 1 or 2 PGA wins. Round of his life, 8 under. Like we said, course was super gettable last night, so that obviously helped. Shot an 8 under last night. I watched, I think, pretty much the majority of the second half of his round, and he was absolutely lights out. Mm-hmm. So he's leading the field at 8 under. He's not teeing off till 8:25, so you got about a half hour for that. Thomas Peters is at 6 under. I can't pronounce his name, but Jazz Gitana Wanaround is holding that 7. That was awful. 7 under. He's through 4.
Jonathan, could you do that again?
No, absolutely. I couldn't probably say it again if I tried. Jonathan Vegas tied for 5th with Alex Noren at 5 under. Our boy Victor Hovland, he's at 4 under through 2 right now. Sebastian Munoz, Paul Casey, tied for 10th at 4 under. Siwoo Kim, 3 under, tied for 14th with Patrick Reed and Xander Schauffele. Let me see. Cameron Smith, tied for 23rd, 2 under with Rory, Colin Morikawa, Abraham Answer, Hideki Matsuyama, who also did not play particularly well last night. He missed a lot of putts. Let's see. I think we got a couple more. Updating leaderboard. Tommy Fleetwood, tied for 31st, 1 under through 1 right now. Tied for 31st with Shane Lowry. And Mark Leishman, also tied for 31st, 1 under. And I think Garrick Higo from South Africa, he's even tied for 42. He just won his first tournament 3 weeks ago, I think, on the PGA Tour. And our boy JT sitting even at tied for 42nd, and he doesn't tee off late. He doesn't tee off till 9:25. Right. And
some good golf later to watch at the bar. Perfect.
And CT Pan, he's kind of he was like a story last year. He's 3 over, tied for 57th.
So one of the stories that I find fascinating, we touched on it briefly, was Sungjae M and Siwoo Kim. They have to medal in order to be exempt from South Korea military service.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Siwoo Kim already do his time? Do his 2 years?
I don't think so, because
maybe I'm thinking of a different Korean.
No, somebody. Sangwoo Bae.
Sangwoo Bae.
Sangwoo
You're right.
Bae.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's only had 1 win since returning.
And it was the
golf
players, wasn't it? Or no, was that Siwoo? That was Siwoo Kim. That was Siwoo Kim. He won the players.
No, 2 other guys had already done military service and came back, and they've been nowhere to be found. Sangwoo Bae, and I can't think of the other guy's name off the top of my head, but Golf Channel highlighted it. So, but anyways, Sungjae M, Siwoo Kim, they have to medal.
Yep.
To be exempt from South Korea military service. According to Golf Channel, they were saying that South Korea military service is usually like a 2-year stint.
2-year stint, yeah.
So there's more pressure on those guys than I think anybody else in the tournament.
Well, they skipped the Open.
They skipped the Open. They skipped the Open. They skipped the British Open to prepare.
Yep.
And so now, can we just go about I know you mentioned Sungjae M.
Siwoo Kim's tied for 14th, 3 under through 4 as we speak.
Okay, and the other guy?
Sungjae M. I think he's 1 under.
I thought you just mentioned him. So
yeah, Sungjae M 1 under through 2, tied for 31st.
Now, do they have you have the leaderboard in front of you, so that's the reason why I'm asking so many questions. Do they have a long way to go to get into contention medal play? Because it'd be nice to see one of I mean, obviously I want U.S. to win the gold, but it'd be nice to see if one of the.
I mean, there's 7 shots back. Obviously Sepp's probably going to come back to the field a little bit.
When do you think the pressure is going to kick in I mean, is there pressure?
When's the
if
final round?
Olympics-
Sunday?
Well, it's for us. It's Saturday night. Them it's Sunday.
Saturday,
It's our Saturday night.
Saturday into Sunday.
Right.
I'd
It's
say
our Saturday
probably. I think it's already there. I mean, for those guys, it's been there. For those two guys, but for
Right,
the other guys who don't have that type of stipulation on 'em, I mean, I'd say probably like today or tomorrow, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got guys like Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed said in an interview, I can't remember what interview he did, who he did the interview with, but he said anytime, any place he has a chance to represent the country, he'll play. Obviously, he showed that there by jumping on a plane the night before. So, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting couple days, and then don't forget we have the women following the men, which is gonna be awesome because that field is stacked.
Who's the women's field is highlighted by who? Lexi Thompson.
Lexi
She's
Thompson,
gonna grab her
Danielle
pants-
Kang.
She's gonna grab her pants again.
Danielle Kang, who's a beast. Megan Kang, right?
Megan King, who lost her gloves.
Dude, that story was hysterical.
Did you
And
see that?
who was it?
Yeah.
Seth that said about
Yeah.
the fear of losing. Dude, every time I fly, always, because every time I fly, it's usually for a golf trip, and that always goes through my head as I'm giving my bag to the desk girl. So
Yeah, I saw that. I was just on Twitter earlier this day, and I just saw her tweet at Delta. Then Delta replied, I'm like, oh, that's going up. She's a local. She's from Massachusetts.
Yep.
I was like, oh, traffic is slow. That's going
yeah,
up.
yeah, no, that's
Slow
just
morning,
nuts.
still
And
going up.
Seth's right. Every time I fly, that's always in the back of my head. Please don't lose my clubs.
He was saying how he doesn't even care if all his clothes get lost. He just-
Seriously, odds are I'm
You can
wearing
buy
a
new
golf
clothes.
outfit on the plane. I can wear that. You know what I
You
mean?
can
I
buy
can wear
new
that
clothes
all
at the
week.
club, or, you know,
Just
whatever, at the
don't
pro
lose
shop.
my stuff.
So, I haven't checked to see if she like updated anything or not. I probably should have, but I'm assuming she hasn't because I'm sure it takes more than one day to get her clubs back. I spelled her name wrong, didn't I?
No, I think that's it. Delta Airlines.
Yeah, there's been no.
I never tweet anymore, but when I
Yeah,
do,
that's
it's to ask Delta where my clubs are. Oh, that's so
And
bad.
apparently, she's tweeted. Like I said, the artist they've been missing since Sunday. It's now Thursday.
Jeez. Wow, that's nuts. That's so crazy.
But yeah, so she'll be playing in the Olympics if she gets her clothes back. If not, she'll buy some Japanese clothes.
Jeez.
I'm
Some Zexios.
sure her company could send her
I'm
new
sure-
clubs too, but they might get lost too. You never know.
Jeez.
And then I loved how Delta just replied like a random regular
Yeah, just
reply.
call a number, and she's like, "I've been on hold with them for an hour and a half. Like, what are we doing here, man?"
So I thought that was something. So that's the stuff that's going on in the golf world. We'll be tracking the Olympics. We'll have a story on whoever wins the gold medal on. I'm not staying up till 3:30 a.m. on Saturday night, so it'll be up first thing Sunday morning. How about that? We'll get into the women's. Obviously, we'll be following the U.S. Senior Women's Open. Apparently, this is only the fourth U.S. Senior Women's Open. I guess it's still relatively new, so that's the first one. That
really?
Yeah. I guess it's the first one that Annika Sorenstam has played in, obviously. So always fun to root for her, and like I said, that's actually in Connecticut. So pretty exciting stuff there. Other things that are going on around the world that we wanted to touch on for a few minutes here before we turn the microphones over to. I think Pat has a show tonight. I'm not really sure actually. His producer says he thinks he has a show, so we'll just go on that.
We never know.
We never really know. If he's live, he's live. If he's not, he's not. He goes live like 20 times a day, so you never really know. But anyway, a couple of quick things outside of golf. The NBA draft is starting as we speak, and David Duke from Providence is looking to get drafted. I hope they get drafted because if not, it's going to be a huge mistake to leave college and try to go pro. So we'll be checking in on that tonight. He could go in the second round, but second round contract's not guaranteed. He could end up like Ben Bentel. The thing with him is, and Joey Calabro's sources say, and I've heard over the last few days that he was actually a problem in the locker room, and that all he wanted to do was go to the NBA, and so maybe that's why PC was a mess last year. So that's just what my sources are telling me, and but we'll see if he gets drafted tonight. If not, he's gonna look kind of like an idiot, kind of like Ben Bentel. And Ben Bentel right now is nowhere. So there's that. The NBA draft tonight. Celtics don't have a first round pick because they traded it. So that's really the only reason really to watch is to see if David Duke gets drafted. And then the other thing going on, it just started yesterday, and I do not really miss covering it at all, is Patriots training camp. Training camp started on Wednesday, and I heard today on the radio that there are scarce spectators there. It's not packed like it usually is. There's not much excitement for the Patriots, I guess, this year. Even though they signed all these guys up, none of them are really needle movers, apparently.
I mean,
so that's going on as well. Mac Jones has looked okay. Cam Newton's looked okay.
Yeah, it's been one day or the other. So it's not. There's nobody. It doesn't look like anybody wants it right now. So, it's gonna be interesting.
And I guess they're not practicing in pads until next Tuesday.
Yes,
that's what Belichick,
something to do with the players' union or something like that.
Yeah, they all want easier work days and more fun stuff instead of actually putting the work. What these athletes do these days. But I am happy that I observed that they're back to in-person press conferences. I'm happy for my media friends. I'm happy for
Belichick's
us
not
as
happy
consumers. Belichick's not happy about it.
Apple, if he could go Zoom, he could do it for the rest of eternity.
Now he can just spit on people in person. So I am happy to see that they're back in-person press conferences. Those Zoom press conferences are total BS because the guy, with all due respect to Stacey James, who's the Patriots PR guy, they can pick and choose who they want to ask the questions. They can avoid the real questions. And I think last year, except for at the very end when it really became like everybody was on the bandwagon, nobody was asking Belichick tough questions. This year they're already starting with the Newton Mac Jones thing. And somebody asked him if he congratulated Tom Brady on winning the Super Bowl. And he didn't answer the question. So thankfully, again, happy for my media friends that are still covering it, that they're back to in-person press conferences. I'm glad that I got out of it before Zoom press conferences because that would have been terrible. So hopefully all sports will be back to that at some point. Hopefully hockey's back to that. Hopefully basketball's back to that. And hopefully, I don't know if baseball's already back to that. Are there people in person at Alex Cora's press conferences? I haven't watched much, to be honest.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
To
be honest.
Anyway, that's a side media note that I'm excited that for my friends that are in the media that Zoom press conferences appear to be no more. For now, anyway. You never know. So that is the stuff that's going on. Are there any updates in the Olympics? Anybody doing anything crazy? I know Justin Thomas tees off in like an hour.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Siwoo Kim's still at 3 under. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any. No significant movers right now.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they can't possibly lit the course up 2 days in a row because I guess they could.
You said they got rain overnight, right? Again.
They rain overnight. It's supposed to rain again in a couple of hours. They said the weekend is supposed to be fine.
Hopefully it dries out.
Maybe they'll trick out the pin. Maybe they'll trick out the pins.
They're making like 11, 12 footers without even looking at the hole. It's just
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And the ones that aren't going in are stopping just short.
Or burning the edge and stopping like an inch past the hole. It's like it's crazy. I mean, I understand it's not glass like Augusta or anything like that. It's not meant to be like that. But like, dude, at least if you miss a putt, get penalized a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just can't get excited about. I mean, I want to see guys make birdies. Obviously, I just can't get excited about watching a giant birdie fest.
They're just pumping them in.
It's just
there
not
was
that
like
much fun.
At one point the live coverage had like 8 or 9 in a row. They were just dumping them in from like 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah, so
it was crazy.
So that's going on. That'll be going on all weekend. And again, we went over the schedule last week. It is a little tricky.
6:30 to 3:30?
6:30 to 3:30.
Yep.
And the final round is going to be Saturday night, our time. It's Sunday there.
Yeah.
Saturday night, our time, 6:30. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
Maybe I'll put a reminder out to
something
people.
to watch on Saturday night.
I'll put a reminder out to people over the weekend. It is tricky. The translation from one time to the other actually isn't as confusing as I thought it was going to be. Because it's just like it's 7:15 over there, but it's 6:15 here is the tea time basically.
Yep.
So it wasn't as tricky as I thought it was going to be when I was doing the conversions. But the time change as far as when the rounds are is a little bit tricky.
And do not forget, women's tournament was the following week.
Women's tournament is the following week. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah, probably.
Obviously.
I would think.
So there is that. So that's what we got. that's the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And believe it or not, Rich, I'm actually playing golf this week.
Are you?
I am actually
I
playing
was
golf
going to
this
say
week.
that. I said we got to
And
get your ass back on the course.
I am tentatively playing 3 rounds in the next 3 days.
Holy crap! I
The
played
only-
today,
the
tomorrow.
The only tentative is Sunday because I have my brother's graduation party in the afternoon, and so depending on the tee time, I have to be back. I have to be back for that.
Is that what you call what you do?
Yeah, play golf. Play golf, make money.
Yeah, so you're
Good
playing
money.
3 times. I played
You're right.
Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
So
it's a good week.
Yeah, I'm playing tomorrow afternoon. Then I'm playing Saturday morning and tentatively Sunday morning, depending on tee time. So
And then hopefully we have a
Super
tournament
excited.
the following week.
and then maybe we'll have a tournament the following week, and then club championship. So I'm trying to get ready for club championship. I haven't really been playing. Admittedly, Golf News Area has taken a little bit of priority this year, this summer, but I'm going to try to get back into it, get ready for the club championship, play a little bit. And now things are slowing down a little bit as far as tournaments and things to go and cover and things of that nature. So I'm trying to play and see how we do. I'm sure I'll do terrible, but
You didn't do terrible last year.
all that matters is we win match 1, and then we'll worry about match 2 when we get there.
But you do have a hell of a caddy, so.
Yeah, well, we'll find out about that. He certainly knows how to drink, especially with our new Link Street deal. You'll be really wasted.
Jesus.
You'll be really wasted. So
The
that'll
putt moves left to right, but that's because you only have a red shoe on.
no, Rich, it moves left to right because you're laying down on the green.
You're almost tipped over.
So that's what we have going on. Next week's show, we're actually having our girl Allison Pake on.
Ooh.
She was our first ever guest on the Golf Dudes podcast. She's coming on next week to preview the Massachusetts Women's Amateur, in which she is the defending champion of. And then we'll talk about Columbia, and we'll talk about other things.
Hopefully she gets to play this year.
With the Ivy League, you never really know. But that is tentatively scheduled for next week. So excited to talk to Allison. I still keep in touch with her every so often, obviously. And she's getting ready to defend the Massachusetts Women's Amateur title, which she won last year. So she's going to be on the Golf Dudes podcast next week. We will confirm that with you during the week, obviously. But that is the plan. So super excited to talk to her again. She was the first guest ever on the Golf Dudes podcast. So super excited to have her on. That's next week. And until then, we'll have some club championship action. We have some Olympic action. We have some U.S. Women's Senior Open action. It would be great if Annika won it. It would be certainly good for page views, which is all I care about. And we'll obviously keep an eye on Chris Francoeur tomorrow in the Francis Ouimet Memorial Tournament over in Massachusetts, see if he can pull out a win. It'd be a big win for him. And obviously then in a couple of weeks we have the U.S. Amateur, and we'll have full coverage of Davis Chatfield and Brad Valoy's run and see how far they go. So that's all we got. Pat Ford is coming up next on Coalition Radio Network at some point. We don't exactly know when. He looks like he's about to fall asleep. So it should be an exciting show. So I give him this Coke right here. So anyway, this has been the Golf Dudes podcast. Thanks to the Lynx Drinks for coming on with us, and we look forward to working with them in the future. Hope everyone has a great night. Enjoy the NBA draft, and enjoy whatever else you might be watching, Patriots training camp and other things. So this is the Golf Dudes podcast. I'm Joe. That's Rich.